Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're going to be going through my February metrics and earnings report. I've been kind of out of commission for a while. I've been in the process of packing and getting ready to move, as well as I just recently got COVID. Unfortunately, symptoms were showing last Wednesday, and today I feel pretty good, so I'm back. I did one video, my coins versus tokens video, when I was just at the beginning of COVID, but then I couldn't really make any other videos during that time. So regardless, I'm pretty much good now. I'm still positive, but I'll probably be negative fairly soon. So I'll be jumping back into things. And the great thing about April is I'll have a lot more capacity to be doing various things for the channel. So I'll be vamping up my interviews again, and I've got a lot of really great interviews ready to go. So do stay tuned for all of that good stuff. We're going to be jumping into my earnings and my metrics report after a quick word from my sponsor.
A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android.
Okay, thanks again to my sponsor. Let's jump into it. So unfortunately, I didn't earn very much in the month of February, only $455, which is still, it's nothing to scoff at, but it is significantly lower than what I've been getting over the past many months. And it is one of my lowest earnings ever, unfortunately. A lot of this is due to like LBRY kind of basically abandoning their users for monetization, a bunch of different things. But regardless, I'm going to be doing a lot more in the near future. So I expect this to start going back up. Unfortunately, because of everything that happened here in like this month, March, I'm sure that will probably be pretty dismal as well. But then I hope going into Q2 with April, etc., this will all start to pick back up and things will get back on track. It's not crazy too, because I've always had a bit of a dip during these times. Well, it depends what year you're looking at, but either way, my total earnings are now over $38,000. That doesn't include appreciation or anything like that, but it's tracking along. I'm not concerned about it. The places that really matter the most, like Read.Cash and Hive, they're all tracking along just fine. So, I'm not worried, to say the least. But let's actually jump into this. So everything's tracking along as it usually does. My video views are way up because I've made some corrections for BitChute, and BitTube is now kind of like, I'm not really sure what's happening with BitTube. They like reset everything. There's an issue with PeerTube, I believe. But I've sort of gone back and made some corrections. Now that I actually do everything using scrapers versus like manual counting, it's significantly more accurate. So I did go back and do some corrections for mistakes or things that were missed previously. So my video views are way up, and that's the reason why it's a bit of a skewed month. But regardless, I am now past 1 million views in total for video views across all the platforms that I use. So that's really awesome to see. I'm about to pass 150,000 followers. I already have, but at least for the month of February, I hadn't yet. So that's all great. I'm not going to spend too much time on this stuff today because I'm also going to do this a little bit quicker because I still have a little bit of raspiness from my COVID, unfortunately, but bear with me. YouTube continues to be dismal, sadly. I thought it was starting to tick back up, but it seems like they're just continuing to put on that pressure. So I don't see myself getting out of that YouTube jail, so to speak. That's okay. Everything else is tracking along pretty well. The only other thing that I mainly changed on this page was I got rid of BitTube because now that they reset everything, I basically have nothing to show for it there, sadly. So I'm just putting Getter here as kind of like a placeholder. mean, it's not really like a crypto platform, but it was one of my higher follower count platforms. So I'm just putting that there as a placeholder. It's not to say that I think it's like great or that they don't censor or anything like that. It's kind of just a placeholder for now. Everything else is just, doing its thing. Pretty dismal month. I've been not doing a whole lot, unfortunately, but again, I do intend to really ramp things up going into April now that I have a lot more availability and capacity to do stuff for the channel. I'm definitely going to be focusing a lot more on that. And that will mainly be seen through the interviews that I will be doing and doing a lot more of. I won't focus too much on this stuff. I know you guys want to mainly look at the earnings report, which sadly is kind of a dismal month again, but nothing new on any of this stuff. Haven't really been doing much sponsors or anything like that. But I did say that every time I do this, I would recall out that my sponsors are not something that necessarily I'm, heavily endorsing or using a lot myself. It's like an ad spot that I'm giving to a sponsor. And if they want to put an ad on my video or I do a Twitter promotion or whatever, I'm very transparent about it. And it's not like me saying like, this is the best thing ever, use this thing. It's more so like an ad spot. Just to be completely transparent with you guys and always be upfront about that. I just think it's important, the very least, to disclose your sponsors, which many do not. So whether or not you agree with the sponsors is another thing. I'm just trying to do my due diligence and be transparent. In terms of my earnings, PublishOX is still, it's tracking along, but it's nothing, that great. I think PublishOX could do a lot if they switched out of ERC20 tokens, since they are crypto agnostic. There's no real reason for them to continue doing ERC20 tokens, given the gas fees associated with that. So I think it would be really great to see them sort of branch out into other tokens or other chains and see what they can do. But, it is what it is. They started doing Statera, which is like, it's sort of like a crypto index fund, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of it because I invested in it a long time ago and it doesn't really track that well with like being an index fund. It doesn't really track with the market very well. So I don't find it super reliable, but hey, I mean, if I get it for free, I will accept it and then just sell it. So, it is what it is. Brave browsers still, producing an okay amount. It's like $7. It's nothing crazy. LBRY / Odysee, it's become so dismal. The earnings are less than my Brave reward earnings, which is pretty sad since there was a time where I was earning thousands of dollars on this platform. I've sort of like denounced it to some degree because they ban channels off of the decentralized app. They took away basically all of your rewards, and everything that made LBRY good has been essentially revoked. And while it's their right, to control monetization and to do all these things, and they say the only reason they took down those channels was because of DMCA requests for copyright. But the issue is that it's supposed to be decentralized and they can control it. They used to say that they only really had control over Odysee and not the decentralized application. But it's clear that they do have control over all of it and it's not decentralized, and they can just remove channels and videos and content as they wish. The worst part is that you can't see what they removed like easily on the application. So you don't actually know if it was what they say it was. You just have to kind of trust them. Obviously, you can, go out of your way and spin up your own interface and do all this stuff. But, are people actually going to do that? no. There aren't really third-party like developers working on interfaces or anything like they all do for Hive. So LBRY doesn't really provide that decentralization aspect anymore. And clearly they never did for monetization either. So a lot of the things that they promised just really are not what you're going to get using that platform. While Hive is much more complex, it actually is decentralized. And if you don't want to have all these problems that I'm now having with LBRY, you can go and use Hive instead. Plus, I mean, you have to spend LBC to post on LBRY. So now we're at the point where people have to go buy LBC to post, and then they don't even really earn enough to recoup what they're spending. And it's centralized. So you're spending money now. It's basically YouTube, but they're asking you for money. So kind of blows my mind. I'll still keep posting on it just because I have a big following there. I'm still one of the top creators on the platform. You know, and I still use all these platforms regardless. So I'll still continue using it and reporting on my earnings and everything that I have been, but I do not recommend LBRY anymore. Sadly, when I do my next big review with my recommendations, it will end up in a much lower category. Moving on to Hive, it wasn't, you know, a spectacular month. As I said, I mean, I was posting less, just not a lot going on. So I only got just under $100, still pretty decent. Same with Read.Cash and Noise.Cash. I got a little over 100. So I would say Hive and Read.Cash paired with Noise.Cash are definitely by far my best earners. And they're pretty consistently high earners, even though they are down. I mean, everything is down. I've been posting less, so it's not necessarily the platform's fault. Plus, you've got LeoFinance on the side giving me a few extra bucks. Just for posting to that community. So it's like, hey, why not, right? Coast.tv, you know, it's sort of growing on me because it's fairly consistent with earnings. I'm not a fan of the fact that you have to get approvals for your posts because that's very centralized in nature. But, you know, if you're going to get like 20 bucks a month or something, just toss it into B&B or whatever else. I can't complain. You know, it is what it is. DTube, pretty dismal month, but, you know, still nothing to scoff at. YouTube, still pretty normal with my earnings there. Sadly, YouTube is now eclipsing a bunch of these platforms where I used to earn more than YouTube. But I mean, you know, overall, I'm still earning way more in crypto than I am in fiat. Plus, they're taking a big chunk for withholding tax anyways. So, you know, to each their own. Blurt, it continues to be fairly good. You know, $37, pretty decent. I am powering down, or rather I did power down most of my Blurt and just put it all into HBD and just building that up on the Hive side of things. I'll talk about that more on my investing video. In terms of just earning and getting rewards there, it's pretty good. I did miss out on a couple posts because you do require a good amount of Blurt to actually post. And I just didn't have some Blurt at the time, so I wasn't able to post. That is a pretty big, you know, like nuisance or red flag for me that it costs so much to actually do posts. And then if you don't happen to have any Blurt on you at the time, then you can't post until you do get it. So yeah, that's kind of a hassle. I'm not a huge fan of that. I've also criticized LBRY for having their costs continually going up, and you know, nothing is free. That's what they always say. And if you are getting something for free, there's some other reason. But you know, Hive isn't free either. It's using Hive power, but you're not actually spending and losing money. That's the big difference. And you know, you can get all into the technicals of, oh, well, you are spending your resource credits and stuff like that, but from a layman's perspective, no money that I own is leaving my wallet and being subtracted to use Hive. Money is in fact leaving my wallet on LBRY and on Blurt to be able to use the platform. And that is not good. I do not want to spend money, as I'm sure most do not want to spend money just to use a platform and or to create on a platform. Loop really sucks. I mean, the website's never working. I haven't even been able to post on it. But hey, if you're going to drop me, $60 of Loop that I can just swap instantly for Luna or UST, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. I'm just not going to recommend it. Tribe has always been a pretty awful platform. Just because they switched to Terra did not solve any of their problems. If anything, it just now Terra has a crappy platform as well. I don't think there's any other social platforms on there. So now it's like the main Terra social platform is just a sucky platform. But hey, if you can get your airdrop from it, you can get your airdrop from it. Yup is kind of not a lot's going on there. The value really, really went down, unfortunately. And I can never get enough to even afford to withdraw. So, that's kind of unfortunate, but, I'll keep using it. They are switching over and doing some different stuff. So we'll see how that all plays out. Torum, you can only really earn from their like daily missions or whatever. So, that's also not super viable because it costs like 80 Torum to just withdraw. So, I can't withdraw anything as well. I put Yup and Torum at the bottom specifically because of that, because I don't know if I should keep reporting on them until they have a more viable way to actually get that money out. For the same reason that I stopped reporting on Den.social, it's just not really viable. And yeah, I wouldn't really recommend wasting your time with it until ETH fees become extremely viable. And, like if they can get them under $1 with ETH 2.0, I thought that was going to come in Q1. And here we are, ETH being its normal self of delaying and delaying. They're saying June now. So I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm just going to keep doing my thing and reporting this back to you guys. But in total, it came to $455.60 or 364 US. So, I'm not super happy with it, but it is reflective of the amount of time I've been able to dedicate to my content. Unfortunately, I've just not had the time to be putting out content, but I'm working on a lot of stuff. So, do stay tuned. Do keep following along. I've got a lot of really, really great things in the works. Talking about money laundering, Bitcoin energy use, privacy coins, comparing exchanges, KYC versus non-KYC, DEX versus non-DEX. Lots and lots of really good stuff in the works. I just want to be very comprehensive, so it's taking me quite a while to work through all of it. And because I've been putting off my yearly review / recommendations, I'm probably just going to jump on that soon. I was going to do a bunch of tutorials first and then link to the tutorials. But I think I don't want to keep putting it off. And I mean, we're already entering the 4th month of the year, so I might as well just jump in and do it. So I'll probably do it this month. So do stay tuned for that as well. This just shows you the percentage makeup of my actual earnings. You can see Read.Cash and Noise.Cash make up a little over a quarter, and with Hive and HBD and LeoFinance close to a quarter as well, and then everything else is just sort of trickled in there. And then this is just the overall chart that you saw at the beginning there. Definitely a lot lower than I would like it to be, but I'm gonna keep tracking things and keep on top of stuff. It's definitely correlated to my lack of posting as well. It's not all just like these platforms are not paying out or something like that. So obviously I have to take responsibility for that. And I'm not just going to say like these platforms are not paying out like they used to. LBRY, that's 100% the case. For a few platforms, it's the case. But for the most part, I just really need to start vamping things up again. And I fully intend to. So, you know, in April, you'll probably see me do an interview with ThorSwap. I'm also going to do one again with Luke Malks from Brave Browser, see what they've updated there. I might try to get something for Dash. I have a ton of things all lined up. I'm going to look at Serey. Serey is an interesting, like SEREY.io. It's sort of like a Steam/Hive clone. You know, if you're familiar, obviously, with Blurt, it's kind of similar as like a copy. But yeah, I mean, I've earned an okay amount on it, maybe like $60 over a very, very long period of time. And I'm going to be doing an interview with them and sort of diving more into that platform and exploring it a little bit more. So I might start recording the earnings there as well. So do stay tuned. I'm always looking for new platforms to test out, review, see how good they are, and relay all that back to you guys. So, you know, if you do know of anything new that I'm not including in any of this and you're able to earn from, please let me know, and I'm happy to go and test them out myself and, you know, let you know how good they are. So maybe I'll include Serey very soon once I've just fully tested, withdrawing, selling, make sure everything's good. Then I'll go in and I'll start reporting on it and giving you guys updates. But I'll probably include it in my next massive review, which hopefully will be in April. Anyways, that's everything. This is a short one because, again, I do have COVID, so I'm just trying to put a little bit of time in. I wanted to make sure I got some of the stuff out before the month was over. I am feeling a lot better, so thank you to everyone who wished me well. I was sort of suffering in silence, so to speak. I wasn't very vocal about the fact that I was sick, and that's, you know, that's fine. I don't need well wishes or anything like that. It wasn't really that bad. I was just a lot of sleeping, and, you know, it is what it is. I hadn't really been sick in the last 2.5 years, basically since the beginning of the pandemic. So, I mean, you know, it's got to happen eventually, and, you know, I'm fine. So, you know, no harm, no foul. I will be doing my other investing video tomorrow, and then starting April, I'm really going to dive into all those interviews and try to get that massive review out and really just jump back into the groove of things. I am also in the process of moving, so that could get in the way of some of this. There might be a time where I might not be able to do some stuff for the studio because I'll have to rebuild it and everything and actually do the moving and packing it up and, you know, all that good stuff. But I've basically packed up most of my house and just kept this entirely intact so that I can keep doing these videos. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this. Let me know if there's any platforms that I'm missing that I should be checking out. Do you see a dip in your earnings for like February or even in March? Let me know, because, you know, I don't hear a lot from you guys as to what you're earning, and always interested to know. But my voice is starting to crack up, so I'll end it off here. If you did watch to the very end, I thank you. You can comment #1ham in the comments below, and that way I know you watched the whole video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.